Hello everybody, it is me, Evan E.T. Dubs, and I know you've all been waiting for this video. It's about time I made it. Neomonsters Q&A. I asked you for questions, you asked me questions, and I'm gonna give you answers. This is me answering your questions about Neomonsters. I will preface this by saying most of these questions were about, or I'm only gonna take into account, legendaries, super epics, and mythics, because anything else below that is, unless you're like kind of new to the game, pretty much irrelevant. There are some 4 stars, but everything else I just sort of disregarded for this video. I mean, considering where I am in the game, those things are pretty much irrelevant. I'm hero rank 269, whatever, nice. But everything in this video will be about those. That's what I am gonna preface with. These questions are in no particular order. Let's get started. Question number 1 was which meta endgame would I want if I could have one? And I personally would say I would love to have the endgame with I don't know if I'm just going to be able to find them on the whim, but the ones with Tricranium, Magmarinus, Infernicorn, Asterios. So we're talking Link Fire endgame. So many times I get absolutely I'm winning a battle until Magmarinus comes in and Link Slayer Bane all, and I just lose. Infernicorn I finally got recently, but so many people have ruined me with that in their endgame. Asterios super strong, even Shiny Cameworm is really strong, but where is he? Tridracon, the stunning entrance, the poison, the triple poison eater, with the prevalency of, if that's a word, of poison endgames and Link Fire endgames. It's just everywhere. So that's the endgame I would want if I could have them, which basically means give me Tridracon and give me Magmarinus. Next question, which tranquilizing entrance monster do I like best? Obviously, the ones in contention are Malwing and Sobeking. And if we just look at my monster decks here, if we can find him, I'm just gonna say the answer is Malwing because that's who I have. But I do think, here's Sobeking. Oh, they're right next to each other. Look at that. I do think Malwing is better based on what I like to do. Sobeking is more of you come in, you do your charge, you do your divine rage, maybe a rebirth, and then you get the entrance again. Malwing is sort of less aggressive and more for the utility. So you'll see in my main PvP team, I use Malwing right before husking, right? So I enter and I can knock back their... Oh, I just turned the secret skill off. Forgot that was a thing. I use blowback, knock back their stun protection, and sends Malwing back to the end of the team. Husking comes in with another stunning entrance. It's just... I think blowback by itself makes Malwing better, but then obviously 70-second Reckless Time Strike deals pretty decent damage, and then you've got a Blood Crave monster. You put somebody to sleep on entrance. I will take the utility of blowback over the damage output of Charge Slayer Bane, Charge Dream Hunt, and Divine Rage pretty much any day. And maybe I'm just biased because I don't have Sobeking, but that's my answer. The next question was who was my first friend in the Neomonsters community, and I honestly am not super involved with the community. Sure, I'm on the Discord, but not as much as a lot of other people. But I will say Killer Dog was the first Neomonsters YouTuber I found, and he was the one that sort of made me realize there was a community around this game, because for the longest time I thought I was the only person that played this game. And so I will say Killer Dog was sort of the first person that introduced me to the community and got me into the Discord and got me making videos in the first place. So shouts to him. The next question is, can I have your number? No, you cannot have my number. Sorry about it. The next question is, which humanoid mythic would I sleep with? And any answer that I give, I feel is just going to be problematic. I already did a smash or pass video, but what I will say is Kamisha gun looking kind of fine, you know what I'm saying? This next question is one of my favorites because you all know me. I love using monsters that nobody uses. I love using underrated monsters. I love using weird monsters, super epics, cycles, whatever. I love it. And this question is, who do I think are the 3 most underrated super epics in the game? My first answer is kind of a bit of a cop-out, but I think Gummy Dragons. Just in general, I think I've only ever run into two other people in the entirety of their existence in PvP using them aside from me, and they do have their issues. 30 speed is rough. Only having Counter-Strike as their only single target move is rough, completely countered by gravity field. But this gummy power, the defense attack buff, is insane. Like, they can one-shot mythics easy with Counter-Strike. Their summon prototype versatility and sort of, the way you can skip and then summon and then use the gummy dragon move. Like, I think if they were just a little bit faster, maybe their moveset was slightly changed around. I don't know. I don't exactly know the perfect solution of how I would fix them other than making them faster, which is sort of, that will make any monster better. But I do think gummy dragons are underrated. I think people sleep on them. I think they sort of deserve to be slept on, but I think they don't need to be slept on as much as they are, if that makes sense. I love gummy dragons. I think they're awesome. Like, gummy dragon piercing blow, insane damage. Gummy dragon times up, so good. Double retribution, defang. Like, they're good, but nobody really sees that. So that's my number one answer. Number two, I will say, is Maradrake. I think Maradrake is a very, very cool super epic that I don't see anybody using. I've got him +9'd, cornered stun, 85 seconds to stun a monster for 200 seconds is really good. And especially as mark monsters are becoming more and more prevalent, like, if we take a look at this, right? These are all the monsters with mark. I'd say about 1, 2, 3 of these, 4 of these might be considered to be put in a PvP team if you're specifically going to use mark. And obviously, like, Exocross, very good monster. But I just think cornered stun in itself, and then he has cornered snipe, he's got hold ground, he's got mark protection, mark attack is a quick mark. Especially with Gandalfrog now existing, I think Maradrake is really underrated, and I would love to start using him more in PvP. I personally don't, but I really do think he could be a very impactful monster and sway battles very much in your favor. Now, I do have one more underrated super epic, obviously, but I think an honorable mention is Sega Nymph. I don't see this a ton in PvP. Typically, when I go against people who are not as far along in the game, I see them running the twins. And even on my, like, second account, I use Sega Nymph in PvP. She's not great, but for the overall, like, what the game is, Petal Storm is crazy strong. I use this in, if you guys have seen my Dungeon Challenge video, I use the twins in Dungeon Challenge, and Petal Storm, like, one-shots the boosted monsters. Not all the time. Some mythics are super high defense, some fire monsters, whatever. But for the most part, Petal Storm is a reliable kill move for a lot of the game. Even in, like, top-level Bond Quest, it doesn't totally kill, but it does more damage than some, like, legendary sweeping moves. So I just want to throw her out there, especially since she's easy to use, decent speed, and you've got the Blossomite stun, you've got Dracorosa. I think Sega Nymph is really cool. But the third underrated super epic, I think, is Armadiator. This guy is fast, 81 speed, easily +9able, and his passives. If you remember my mortar video when I did, like, the Canis Worm entrance, I would get an entrance and it would instantly load this guy, and he's so fast, so you get a Hellfire Mortar all, and with the attack boost when his HP is 50% or higher, it just kills. And with monsters existing, like I mentioned, with, like, Gandalfrog, or, the guy that I don't have, the Leaf Robot, the mortar one, there's so many ways to make this guy work. And with knockback and pullback, 42-second knockback with Gandalfrog, or pullback, or like, he's just really good. And I don't think enough people are using him. I don't really think anybody's using him. But I think Armadiator is very good. I think he's slept on. Those are my top 3 underrated super epics. Next question that I got was, are you single? Now, the answer to this is I am a Neomonsters YouTuber, so you could probably figure it out. The next question is, why did I start going by ET Dubs? That's a good question. You guys know my real name is Evan, and I just thought, like, Dubs, taking Dubs, Evan taking Dubs, it just, ET Dubs just kind of rolls off the tongue, and I just thought it was a cool name. If any of you were on my friends list before I rebranded, my name used to be King Meta Knight, which was my gamer name for, like, everything else. My Clash of Clans base was named King Meta Knight, whatever. But I was kind of sick of that, and I wanted something more, personal to me, and ET dubs just kind of popped into my head. So that's where that came from. The next question was, where am I from? This is the internet. You never know who's sneaking around and stealing my social security number or whatever, but I am from the United States. Is that good enough for you? Well, too bad that's all you're getting. The next question is, how did I get my first awakened mythic? Which is a really good question. As most of you know, I advertise myself as a free-to-play player, although this is literally going to haunt me for my entire life. These 2 paid gems that I have left over. I did it so that I could get Ellum Fox, and in the end I got Ellum Fox, and it was totally worth it, but I'm not happy about spending money that one time. It was one time, but other than that, I'm completely free to play, and Missile Torment, I got lucky. That's kind of the only answer. I mean, save your gems. Don't spend them on just random banners. Spend them when there's festival eggs, so there's increased drop rates. But it also helped that I've been playing for so long, so I was playing when there were only like 4 mythics that existed in the game, and Missile Torment was one of the first mythics. It was like Kurakami, I think, was the first, because they had an event with him. Like XYZ was one of the first. Missile Torment was one of the first. So he's just been around the longest, so it's been easiest for me to hatch him because he's been in the egg pools the longest, and I just got lucky. The second one, XYZ, this wasn't the question, but I'm going to answer it anyway. XYZ, you'll get mythic fragments here and there. This one I had +6, and then the last anniversary when we got the 7-star ticket, I just used it on XYZ because I wanted, another awakened mythic, and I think XYZ is pretty good. I love instant knockback next, 80 speed, +9, times up, all that stuff, cobalt coating. So yeah, that's my story. Just getting lucky. I wish there was a better answer. Get lucky and save your gems. It's easier with the shrine now, so there you go. I love this next question. It's, who do you think is the most underrated mythic? And my answer to that is Yukihana. Yukihime. Yukihana's her second form, which is the one I have. I think she's so cool. When she came out, I was like in awe, and I don't remember if a lot of people were like that, but I do think she's so cool. So, especially like they just upgraded her Swift Ultra Wave. So now you get an 85-second, Frozen Wave from what's-her-face, Fiona, that, they instant Purifying Mist and then do that and your team's ruined. Like, yeah, it's that, but not super fast speed, but 85 seconds, which is, first of all, I think that itself, like 85-second to slow down the enemy team, that's good. Fatal Sleep is such a cool move, like guaranteed kills after a certain amount of time. It's like a death sentence, but faster, which is easier to control. And at 130-60 seconds with so many opportunities in water to element accelerate is super good. Frozen Heart, 42 seconds, element accelerate, Frozen Heart's so good. I think that's such a cool skill that really only Ellum Fox has with Frozen Punch. And like, you don't have to wake up sleeping enemies by doing it. Frozen Heart and Fatal Sleep already make her cool, and then you've got Solo Blood Fury, which is awesome. Frozen Touch, which is awesome. Shield Entrance with so much defense and health, like she's so hard to kill. And then you have A Dream of Snow, which is, I would argue, one of the most unique secret skills in the whole game. Putting a monster to sleep forever is just so cool. And if you have Bastia and you can find a way to control it, you make the entire battle a 4v3, which is just insane. And granted, you can't use Fatal Sleep anymore with that person asleep, but if you use Fatal Sleep first, while you're getting rid of their sleep protection, and then use it, she's got Solo Blood Fury. So I think Yukihime is the most underrated mythic. That's what I'll say. And there are some others that are good that don't get used as much, but I will say I think Yukihime deserves it. My honorable mention would be Ophidiator, just because I think he's cool and I have him. But yeah, that's my answer. The next question is, which monster has the coolest design? And I think most of you know this answer. It's Rune Dragon. For me, I love Rune Dragon. I think he's the coolest monster in the game. You all know he's my most wanted monster. I don't need to say much. But since we all saw that coming, I'll give a runner-up, which I think is Cephalagander, just because he's one of the most unique designed monsters in the game, I think. All the, he's so fleshy. He's so, just look at him. You look at him and you're like, what does that look like? It looks like a horse, but it also looks like, you know, a kraken and a squid, and he's got spikes, and, you know, there's a lot of really cool looking monsters in this game, but I do think Cephalogandr is sort of the most unique, and that uniqueness flair is sort of what draws me to him as the runner-up, because we all know I think Rune Dragon is the coolest monster in the game. This next question, how long have I been playing? I have been playing, I just checked the App Store. I downloaded this game on December 31st, 2015. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we're coming up on 7 years now that I've been playing this game. That is crazy to me. That's like so crazy to me. But yes, I have been playing this game since December 31st of 2015. Wow. Which was, I think, a couple months since it was released. Oh, that's wild. Next question, who is my favorite shop monster? I interpreted this as monsters you can only get from the shop, so that's Phylloculosaurus, Hanswolf, Abyss Soldier Poseidon, and the 2 mythics. Out of the legendaries, Hanswolf is, you know, he's fine. At times I think he's kind of lame. Same with Phylloculosaurus, just they've changed him so much. He's fine. Abyss Soldier Poseidon is the most fun to play with. Obviously, we all know he's like busted and everybody's been using him since he came out. But my favorite shop monster is Iridescizarch. First of all, because he has a super cool name. Second of all, he's got a really awesome design. Third of all, nobody really ever uses him. I don't even have him. I don't have Ankara either, but I've ran into maybe 2 Iridescizarchs ever. But like, he's not super good. He's just kind of cool. I mean, defensive, protecting mythic with crazy defense, with a defense buff, with this Prism Burst. Like, I bet he can easily survive for 400 seconds. Obviously, Guardian Execute, whatever, is going to shut him down, but I bet he's hard to kill. He's got a decent revenge that's going to go off unless you have some sort of disruption, obviously, because he's got Protect, you know, and he just looks cool. So I love monsters that you don't see often that look cool. And his first form, I've never seen this before, but I'm just looking at it. That's a really cool looking first form. So just overall, this guy's a cool guy. So I think he's my favorite shop monster, mythic. This next question is, what do I think is the best endgame? I'm basing this off of what beats me the most, which is Moku Deathgazer. I just run into that too many times, and if people are smart, then they can stop like these 4 monsters, which kind of hold down... Oh, hello? My game froze. Uh-oh, but I can still talk. These guys sort of hold down the fort of my end game, which relies on, you know, these monsters, and then they kill them, and then Moku just comes in and wins. So that's what beats me a lot, but obviously poison end games are very prevalent and very strong, and I think those are good, which is why I run anti-poison end games. So I use Draco-Rosa in pretty much every end game I have. I use Guillaumerai sometimes. I use Shurikaiser sometimes because, you know, poison immunity, sneak attack, whatever. But yeah, poison end games are good. I mean, that's why people use them. You've got Scorpiogeist, you've got Deathgazer, you've got Nectarion is everywhere and pretty hard to stop at times. So that's what I'll say is the best end game. The next question is, which monsters do I think need a buff or a nerf? And this is kind of a funny question to me. I was like planning my answers before this. I was looking through and I was like, you know, a lot of the monsters that I say need a nerf, I only say because like I'm using front lines with gummy dragons or what are they called? Elfin dragons or something like that. Like I say things need a nerf just like to myself because they beat me because I'm not using very well thought out teams. But I will say a monster I think needs a buff because I've used him. I've tried so hard to use him and it just doesn't work, is Terrazawo. 54 speed, Slayer Break, Shield Breaker, Stealthy Entrance, defense buff. You can protect him and he's fine. He's got a 30-second insta-kill. Well, not insta-kill, but you know what I mean, kill move. But 5 kills is just so unattainable. I mean, you guys saw in my Terrazawo video how hard it was to get that set up because you can't use him in the mid game. I mean, by the time you get 5 kills, the match is over. So you have to use him in the front line, but then, you know, nobody's going to have a kill. You're barely going to have people that have shields. You can't give the enemy a shield. So it's just, what I would do is I would make in the zone need only 4 kills, which, you know, is I understand sort of how strong it is, and that 5 kills is like what holds it back, but just nobody uses Terrazawo, and I feel so bad for him because I think he's really cool and I think he has so much potential. And with the Swift Cannibalize, like, it's just so hard to get to 5 kills. I would buff him, and all I would do is I would make in the zone that you'd only need 4 kills. That's what I would do. In terms of monsters that need a nerf, like I said, I'm really only basing this off of monsters that I personally don't like running into, and then I'll lose to them and I just think, you know, like, oh, they're too strong, they need a nerf. But most of that, I was thinking about this a lot, this specific question. Most of that is because of the way that those monsters are put into the team. Like, I would say, I'm sure many people say Cynthia needs a nerf, but honestly, like, she's just a storm mythic. Like, you can kill her. She doesn't have any, you know, anything that makes her difficult to kill other than her fast, I mean, double repulse, obviously, her fast kill moves, but like, she's just another mythic, right? I mean, 5,000 health. Okay, you can do that. It's, you know, it's just when you put her in with all the other monsters that you put her in, because everybody rocking Awakened Cynthia has awakened everything else, and so their team is fully evolved mythics. It's when you put all the mythics together that they're hard, and same with like the S tier legendaries. But the monster that I think needs a nerf the most, in my opinion, is, let me find him. I just had the monster decks pulled up and then put it away. It is Gorga Drake. I think he's just really, really strong. He's fast, 65 speed plus 9. He's got 51 second double kill. He's got Death Revenge because he's got 77% chance poison gas. He's got 51 second bloodthirst. Sure, you know, every time he attacks, there's a 13% chance he dies, but then he's got Devil's Luck. Then there's only an 8% chance he dies, which, you know, realistically, he uses 10 moves, and then in one of those 10 moves, there's about, you know, there's probably a chance that he's going to die. But in 10 moves, if you have auto poison, that's 20 kills, potentially. Like, he's just really strong. And the Death Revenge on it, and the Death Revenge is on the second form, too. That just, like, puts me over the edge, and I'm like, this guy, I think he needs something done to him. He's just a really good mythic, and that's why I say he needs a nerf. But yeah, I think overall, the game is relatively, maybe this is the wrong way to say it, but I would say relatively balanced. If you're losing, just be better at team building. That's my answer to that question. The next question was, again, can I have your number? And again, the answer is no. Sorry about it. Next question is, poison endgame, is it possible? You know, that's a good question, and I think I'm like such a firm believer that you can make anything work in this game, but poison endgame is one of the hardest. You know, you've got Robinator for a fast poison, and that's about it. You've got Abyss Raider, who I tried. Remember when I did the Abyss Raider Narieta team? Like, it's hard. It's really hard. If you could maybe, no, but you know, it's just speed in a front line is so important. And when the entire archetype that you're trying to use is lacking in speedy setups, I mean, you've got a 74 easy plus 9 Poison Storm, but that's kind of your best bet. Otherwise, it's Poison Touch, and none of the Poison Sweepers are that fast. Like, you've got a 69 speed Poison Eater, and that's like it. Your next bet is 60, 70 speed. So it's, with that, I don't think it's possible to make a super effective poison frontline. I just think it's hard, guys. It's hard. If you can do it, I mean, I've been beaten by poison front lines, I'll say it, but I mean, my normal team is this, so, you know, this beats poison front lines, like, completely hard counters it. And there are other people, you know, they run Purify in the front line, they run Purifying Mist, they run, you know, it's just really hard to pull off a poison front line. It's possible, but you got to get lucky with your matchmaking, and you got to have exactly the right monsters. So that's what I'll say. The next question is, and I quote, "Can you please make a meta team for the love of God?" And I'm just going to put up this team that I used for pretty much all of last season, and I will let you guys be the judge of that. Sort of the whole purpose of my Neomonsters existence is not using meta teams. So maybe I will someday, but for now, as long as they keep coming out with fun super epics and interesting legendaries, I'm going to keep making fun teams. Those might not be meta teams, but that's just how I play the game. Deal with it. And speaking of meta teams, the next question was, since I love Vine Gazer so much, did I hatch the Vine Girl, who is Jacqueline? Yes, I did. Here she is. I use her a lot because I use Vine Gazers a lot. Not because she's like busted and OP and, you know, everybody's complaining that she's so good and that you only use her if you're a scrub and you're bad at the game and you just need to put random Vine Eyes in their team. No, I use her because I use Vine Gazer so much. I promise you. I don't just throw her into a team because I know she's really good. I use her because of Vine Gazer, I promise. When I saw her come out, I was like, I want her, before I even realized how good she was. I promise. But yes, I have Jacqueline. Yes, I use her. Yes, she's super fun. This next question makes me really sad because I genuinely don't know the answer. But the question was, when will you actually get Rune Dragon? And I don't know. I just want him. I want him so bad. And the day I get him may never come. And that's just really disappointing. But maybe he'll be featured in the anniversary. Who knows? You never know. But when will I get Rune Dragon? I can't say. But when I do, it will be the greatest day of my life. And yeah, that answers that question. And now the final question of the video. I think this is a good one to end on. Who is your least favorite monster? Such a good question. Like I said, I base a lot of the answers to this questions on just merely my own opinion and sort of how I play the game. And in my own opinion, Keleviathan is my least favorite monster because so much of what he does just completely counters everything I try to do. He's got 90 speed, which is faster than pretty much everything I ever use in a team ever. So already, that's annoying. 90 speed, protect, focus, hard to kill. He's got gravity field. I can't use retreat. I can't use any of that stuff. I can't use pullback. I can't use knockback, any of that stuff. He's got the twin death sentence, which almost never goes off, obviously, because it's a frontline protector. You're going to kill him. But petrify revenge, it's just so much of him I just don't like. And so many people have him. So I run into him all the time. And pretty much unless I'm using my Crystal Worm team, which has Aether, then Keleviathan just shuts down everything I'm trying to do. And even when I'm using Aether, chances are people are going to protect with Keleviathan and then have something else that's faster than 69 plus 9 speed so that they could just kill Aether, and then I've got Keleviathan just chilling there. And I basically can't do anything with the rest of these monsters because Corellius and Roseus are the only two that can kill Keleviathan apart from Aether. And Roseus is hit or miss because he might not be in fast breaker range because it protects focus. Corellius is hit or miss because he's only 29 speed, so vengeance, they might kill him before he... It's just, I don't like Keleviathan. Keleviathan is my least favorite monster. That's the answer. But I want to make this a little more fun and add my least favorite monster that I own, which is kind of an easy answer for me, Mojinator. I think, here's what I'll say. Roaring Entrance, Purifying Mist, Exit Plan is good. However, just the history of this monster, if you guys remember the video, I was hatching for Rune Dragon. I got Garden Fairy Violet. I hatched another legendary. I was so excited that maybe that would be the time that I hatched Rune Dragon, and it was Mojinator. And that just really made this guy rub me the wrong way. So this is my least favorite monster that I own. Sorry, Mojinator. You're fine. You're not the worst monster that I own, but it's just, you're my least favorite. Sorry. You could have been Rune Dragon. You should have been Rune Dragon. Sorry, buddy. So that is going to do it for my Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for asking me questions. It was super fun to just interact with you all and answer them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.